Hi everybody, this is Adi from Hot Yoga Asheville again. Today we are going to go over Chaturanga and upward facing dog. These are very common postures that you'll see in a Vinyasa in a flow class all the time. Just want to show you how to modify and also how to get stronger and more stable and have a more sustainable practice. One of the most common injuries I see and hear from yogis is shoulder issue injuries. I've been there too. So join me on the mat. Let's go through this tutorial and hopefully we figure some stuff out. So the first thing about Chaturanga is how do we modify? So for a lot of people, it's very challenging to do a full push-up with the triceps in this way, keeping the elbows to the sides of the body. So what you should do as a beginner is keep your knees on the ground. Bring your upper body forward so that you're opening the wrists. And then turn your inner elbows forward. So if you take your elbows out, it's going to be more like a chest push-up. For yoga's sake, we want the inner elbows forward, so the back of the elbows, it's called your weenus skin, is pointing to the back of the room. Bring your upper body forward. Notice how your shoulders want to shrug. So don't allow that to happen. So you have to have enough space here. Draw your shoulders away from the ears. Pull your elbows to the sides of the rib cage. We're just going to come to a 90-degree angle with the arms. And because we're on the knees, it's sloped a little differently. But you're going to get those basic fundamentals to build your strength just right here. And then we'll inhale, pull to an upward facing, keeping the elbows slightly bent, shoulder blades down your back. And then we'll go back into our downward facing dog. Now, if you're going from your Chaturanga and you're starting to get better at that, where you're on your knees, you've gotten strength here. Now, sometimes we have to be in this sort of modified Chaturanga for a while. Then the next step is to, of course, come off of your knees. Now, if you come off of your knees, same thing, the shoulders will want to shrug and you'll want to bring the shoulders up to your ears. What that does is it can cause some impingement in the top of the shoulders. The other thing I see is something like a winging scapula. So your scapula will pop up and the elbows will be out wide. And that again can rotate into the top of the shoulders and can cause some of that stinging pain in the top of the shoulders. In Vinyasa, that's one of the most common things I hear from students is like, oh my gosh, I strained something and I can't lift my arm up over my head anymore and the top of my shoulder hurts. That kind of injury, and I know from experience, it happened to me when I was new to Vinyasa. I couldn't lift my arm properly for like a year. Okay, I don't mean to freak you out, but I just want to be realistic that sometimes when we do something in our body, it can take a little while to repair. So once I did that injury, and I did it in a one arm balance, something crazy posture. But once that happened, I had to come back to my knees in my Chaturanga. So then I was on my knees for probably 6 months to a year, modifying. And, I didn't lose anything in my practice. In fact, I gained a lot in my practice just by having to back off. So remember, your setbacks are opportunities to get stronger. So if you're in your high Chaturanga or even on your knees Chaturanga, you want to keep the shoulder blades away from your ears, shoulders down, turn the inner elbows forward, and then this is key. See how my heels are back here? Take your heels and push them forward, right? So this action of coming forward, and then your shoulders are way over your wrists, your elbows are in, you come halfway down, come to that 90-degree angle. Don't let the chest come down lower, okay, because that's going to put a lot of strain again in the top of the shoulders. So we just want to come about halfway down. Notice how when I move into my upward facing, shoulder blades stay down the back, shoulders stay away from the ears. And then again, we push back into our downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to a high plank. Push your heels forward, come halfway down, come into your upward dog. And exhale into your downward dog. While we're here, let's talk about upward facing dog. So a lot of times what I see in upward dog is people pull their chin forward. And if you pull your chin forward, even just sitting here, you can play around with it, put your chin forward, what happens to your chest? It collapses. So we want to keep the ears in. We pull the chin in and then up, then the chest is moving as well. So when you're going from your Chaturanga into your upward face, notice if you pull the chin forward, you're going to be fighting yourself. You want to draw the chin in, pull the chest through, And then we'll get that nice curvature in the spine from the bottom all the way to the top. We're not collapsing in the shoulders or the neck. What can you do to build some strength in order to strengthen underneath the scapula and get stronger is simply come to your knees and drop your chest, squeeze the shoulder blades in, and then push the floor away. You pull the shoulder blades back, and then we push the floor away. We call these like scapula push-ups, back and forward, all the time keeping the belly pulled in, squeeze shoulder blades back and forward. And you want to repeat these maybe just a few minutes a day is going to help build the strength, especially if you are somebody who tends to wing your shoulder blades. You want to keep those shoulder blades nice and stable and connected to the body. This is what's going to build up the anterior serratus muscle for that area. Once you've mastered that, maybe try it in a plank. Squeeze and push, and squeeze and push. That should feel kind of tiring, so then you can, of course, shake it out a little bit. But what's really important, again, is don't let your elbows come out. Don't shrug your shoulders. Try not to squeeze your neck. Be patient. It's a process, just like all of these yoga postures. And from my experience, most of everything I learned is from hurting myself and then being stubborn to learn it the proper way and the safe and sustainable way. So if I can help you today, hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions, post in the comments below. I will definitely address your questions and get back to you. Have a wonderful holiday. Thank you for being here. Namaste.